So can you just tell me about your background? So how did you get to where you are today?
So I started playing when I was about 8. Played for a boys' team for a few years, which is always fun. But no, it was good. That was really where I started enjoying my football. Played with my brother, which is pretty much what kick-started it all, and my dad in the garden and whatever. And then, played for a boys' team for a few years. Then joined my first girls' team, which was like Hampshire at the time, so it's like county. And then that transitioned into Southampton Women, which I was then there for most of my youth career. 5 years, I think it was in the end, which I loved every second. It was really good fun. Then did a year and a half at Chelsea Academy, which again was really good experience. Got to train with the first team a bit and stuff, so that was good. And then I've signed my first professional contract at Lewes in the Championship. Was there for 2 years, again loved that, it was good fun. And then last year I was at Burnley in the Northern tier, and then now my first year here at Oxford.
Nice one. So what would you describe your relationship with football right now, maybe compared to how it used to be?
I'd say right now it's really good.
Yeah.
It's definitely had its ups and downs, but right now I'd say I'm really enjoying my football. I think the group here is great, which obviously always helps off pitch to enjoy yourself as well. I'd say now, but there's definitely been moments in my career where I've potentially not enjoyed as much or had injury struggles, so there's definitely up and down, it's not smooth sailing.
Yeah, exactly, I know what you mean. So can you maybe describe a day in your life? Not exactly from waking up to falling asleep, but what would you do normally?
I'd say I'm quite lucky because I don't at the moment have a job alongside football. So mine's probably a lot more chilled than some of the other girls in the team. But get up, get ready for the day. I live like an hour and 15 from training, so it's a bit of a drive every day. Then head into training. We have some analysis, play some table tennis in between in our downtime, and then training, gym, food, more meetings. We always have meetings. I find time to talk about something, but it's good.
It sounds very full on in a way. So how do you juggle? I mean, you don't have a job, you said as well, you do, but not on the side. So how do you kind of juggle basically all of that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I think I've got it easier compared to some of the other girls who've got full careers alongside. Mine's easier because I'm able to just focus on football. But some of the girls are waking up and doing a job in the morning up until lunchtime, and then driving an hour to training, and then doing their second job. So I am lucky in that sense, but I can imagine it's quite hard to juggle.
Exactly. So I assume you probably use social media throughout your day. Do you think it has kind of a negative impact on maybe how you go throughout your day, or do you find you have quite a positive impact? How would you describe it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think in terms of football, I think it can be quite a positive thing to almost for your self-promotion and to get your name out there. In that sense, I think it's positive. But definitely on a day-to-day basis, it's easy to doom scroll, isn't it? And get in bad habits and have the perfect life thrown in your face when really everyone knows that's not really the reality. So I think it's definitely balanced, and it's got its pros, but it's definitely got its cons too.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Sometimes I'm just sat there for hours going, what is this? Ooh. So this is a bit more mental health, but how do you deal with stress and pressure before after a game?
I would say before a game, obviously everyone deals with their nerves and everything differently, but I think for me it's probably about routines. I have my routines the day before a game, things I eat the day before a game, and then same on a match day. I always have the same breakfast, always get up at the same time, and then even in the changing room, I have funny things I do, I always put my right side on first, my right boot and everything. I always have to put deep heat on, even if I feel absolutely fine. It's just part of my routine. So I think things like that keep you focused on what you're doing rather than overthinking things is important before a game. And then I'd say after a game, it's really important. As a team, we're quite good at like getting together, whether it's a win, whether it's a lose, and we're quite good at coming together and chatting about it in a relaxed setting rather than being just like in front of the coaches or whatever. And I think it's good to chat things through and then almost move on to the next game, really.
Perfect. So I don't know about you, but I get quite a lot of anxiety doing some things like this. Very anxiety-based, but do you get much anxiety before you go out on the pitch?
I think it depends game to game. Some games not as much, but I always find that when I do feel more anxious or nervous before a game, a lot of the times I play better because I feel like I'm more almost up for it and go into more tackles and stuff. So yeah, I definitely do feel it. And I know some people don't get nervous at all and others are nervous before every game, but I'd say I'm pretty much like on a game-to-game basis, it depends.
Do you like use it to drive you then?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, I'd say I'm quite an aggressive player anyway, so, but yeah, no, I think it's good if you use it in the right way.
Cool, and then let's go for, so you've mentioned like talking about your stress and like after game. Are you comfortable talking to your players around you? I know you mentioned you can't involve, but can you go into like a bit more detail what you mean? Like, how do you talk to your team when you're feeling like a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure how the game went, sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely a tricky one because I feel like when you're in a team setting, it's very easy to feel like you don't want to be a burden or like or talk about whatever you're feeling you're struggling with if you know other people are also struggling. So I think it's difficult, but I think it's also important because your teammates are the best people to talk to because they're in the exact same situation as you. So yeah, I think it is important, and you do have to push yourself to do that. And I'd say I'm probably not the best at that because I feel like I'd rather just keep it to myself. But I think like once you've done it, you know you feel so much better afterwards as well. So yeah.
Nice one. So do you think that no offence, do you think the club provides a lot of your support for you? Because I know Oxford have that schemes going on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I can't remember live what it's called, but it's quite a good scheme and a lot of clubs are doing it. But do you think they provide you as a women's team enough like mental health support?
So we have like a chaplain that comes in. She's in maybe like twice a week, so we're able to chat to her, which is always good. And then we have a player care role, who's also in a player role as well, which is quite good because obviously then you know when you're talking to someone they know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, I'd say we've definitely got roles within the club that are there to support us.
Nice. Do you think mental health in general is taught enough like in the women's football, sorry?
I would say it's talked about more than it used to be. Probably not enough as it should be. I think it also is often talked about only because of a certain event has happened or certain things for whatever reason to mark the occasion. So I think it should be more like in daily conversations. How you do that, I don't know how that's started, but yeah, I'd say it's definitely improved, but I think it still needs to continue to...
Do you think there's sort of like it's mainly the higher league that gets the focus rather than you guys or someone in the championship? Do you reckon that that's like a difference, or do you think there's not much difference?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I don't know much of like anything that's really spoken about in our leagues and below. I think obviously the more media attention the higher leagues get, they obviously talk about it more. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that needs to be drip fed through and down the lower leagues for sure.
Yeah. So final question. It's kind of like a nice little one. So what advice would you give to a person, a young girl, entering the football scene for the first time?
I would say you have to be resilient. Absolutely, if that's something you want to work towards, you have a goal you want in mind, I think you've definitely got to work hard and be resilient to get there, because it's not plain sailing. But I also think you always have to enjoy it, and I think that's something throughout my career I've tried to stay focused on, is that even in when times aren't as great as they have been, I think I've always enjoyed training. I've always enjoyed being on the pitch, whether stuff off the pitch isn't going so well. And I think that's the main thing. If you ever get to a point where you're not enjoying it, then something needs to change. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.